Have you ever been stopped at your own front door, treated like a stranger in the place you call home, just because of how you look? That's exactly what happened to me last Tuesday, and let me tell you, it wasn't just a misunderstanding, it was a gut punch that turned my quiet neighborhood upside down. My name's Amara Jackson, and what should have been a simple evening turned into a showdown that left jaws on the floor and a community forced to face its ugly truths. The sun was dipping low as I pulled into Willow Grove, our new neighborhood. I just survived a grueling 14-hour day at school teaching English to high schoolers, juggling parent meetings, and enduring a staff meeting that dragged on forever. All I wanted was to kick off my shoes, pour a glass of wine, and sink into my couch. We'd only been in this upscale community for 2 weeks, but the charming colonial houses and pristine lawns already felt like a sanctuary. My husband, Ethan, and I had scraped and saved for years to buy our dream home here. I parked in our driveway, my arms loaded with tote bags stuffed with student papers, groceries, and a bundle of daisies I'd grabbed to brighten our kitchen table. That's when I heard her voice, sharp and cutting, slicing through the evening air. "Excuse me, what are you doing here?" I turned to see a woman marching across my lawn, petite, white, with a sleek blonde bob and makeup so perfect it looked painted on. Her arms were crossed over a beige sweater, her lips pressed into a thin, accusing line. "I'm going home," I said, shifting the weight of my bags. "Can I help you?" She didn't miss a beat. "This is 312 Willow Lane. The Jacksons live here." I forced a smile, though my patience was already fraying. "Yes, I'm Amara Jackson. My husband and I moved in 2 weeks ago." The woman, Margaret Caldwell, I'd later learn, the HOA president, gave me a slow, deliberate once-over, her eyes narrowing with suspicion. "The Jacksons I met were different," she said, her words dripping with meaning. My stomach twisted. I knew exactly what she was getting at. See, our real estate agent had shown Ethan, my white husband, around the neighborhood while I was away at a teaching conference. Margaret had met him, but not me. "That was probably my husband, Ethan," I said, keeping my voice steady. "I was out of town when we closed on the house." Margaret's posture stiffened, her chin lifting. "I'm going to need identification and proof you live here before I let you enter this property." Saw let me enter my property? Saw the sheer absurdity of it. Would have been funny if it wasn't so infuriating. My arms ached from holding the bags, but I didn't dare set them down, out with her watching me like I was a thief. "Ma'am, this is my house," I said, jingling my keys with the one finger I could free. "I really need to put these groceries away." "Anyone can have keys," Margaret snapped, while viewing off my words like they were nothing. "As HOA president, it's my duty to keep this neighborhood safe. We've had break-ins recently." That was a lie. I checked the crime stats before we bought the house. Willow Grove was as safe as it gets. But I took a deep breath. As a black woman, I'd been here before, and I knew the drill: stay calm, don't escalate. "I understand your concern," I said, slipping into the measured tone I use with difficult parents. "But I'm Amara Jackson. This is my home. If you want, call my husband to confirm." Margaret's eyes flashed. "Oh, I'll be making a call, all right." My heart sank as she pulled out her phone and dialed 911. This wasn't just annoying Anna Marie, it was dangerous. I'd seen how these situations could spiral, how a simple misunderstanding could turn deadly. "Hi, yes," Margaret said into the phone, her gaze locked on me. "I'm reporting a possible break-in at 312 Willow Lane. There's a woman trying to enter the Jackson residence. She claims she lives here, but I know the Jacksons, and she's not Mrs. Jackson." My hand shook as I set my bags down and fumbled for my phone to call Ethan. He was due home from his FBI field office any minute. As I dialed, I caught movement next door. Our neighbor, Elena Rivera, who'd welcomed us with homemade tamales the day after we moved in, was on her porch, filming the whole thing with her phone. Relief washed over Mesh was documenting this. "You're making a mistake," I told Margaret, forcing calm into my voice. "I'm calling my husband. He'll clear this up. Put the phone down." Margaret barked. For all I know, you're calling accomplices. By now, neighbors were trickling out of their houses, drawn by the commotion. My face burned with humiliation. I'd worked so hard, top of my class, master's degree, a respected teacher at Lincoln High, and here I was, being treated like a criminal on my own lawn. A man in golf clothes approached, siding with Margaret. What's going on? He asked. This woman's trying to break into the Jacksons' house, Margaret said, triumphant. I've called the police. I assumed he was her husband, Gregory. He eyed me with the same distrust. The police were coming, Margaret gloated, saying they'd told her to keep me out of the house. My call to Ethan went to voicemail, so I texted him, saw emergency at home. HOA woman blocking me. Called police. Come ASAP. Saw. This is a misunderstanding, I said to the growing crowd. I'm Amara Jackson. I live here with my husband Ethan. I have ID. I reached for my purse, but Margaret flinched like I was reaching for a gun. Keep your hands where I can see them, she ordered. That's when Elena's voice cut through. Leave her alone, Margaret. That's Amara Jackson. She's my neighbor. Margaret dismissed her with a wave. Stay out of this, Elena. You don't know who she is. I know she's my friend. Elena fired back, still recording. The crowd murmured, some neighbors looking uneasy, others nodding along with Margaret. Sirens wailed in the distance, and my pulse raced. What if the police believed her? What if they came in hot, guns drawn? My thoughts were cut short by a black SUV pulling into the driveway. Ethan stepped out, his tall frame radiating authority in his crisp FBI suit. His face darkened as he took in the scene. Amara! He called, striding toward me. What's going on? Before I could speak, Margaret stepped between us. Sir, stay back. This woman's trying to break in. The police are coming. Ethan froze, then his expression hardened into what I call his agent face, cold, unyielding. Ma'am, he said, his voice deadly calm. That's my wife, and this is our house. Margaret's jaw dropped, her eyes darting between us. Your wife? But you. Yes? Ethan prompted, his eyebrow arching. She stammered, grappling with the reality of our interracial marriage. There's been a mistake, she mumbled. A police cruiser pulled up, and two officers approached, a young white rookie and an older black officer with graying hair. What's the situation? The older one asked. Margaret rushed forward. Officers, thank God. I caught this woman trying to break in. She claims she lives here, but... She does live here. Ethan cut in, pulling out his FBI badge and driver's license with our address. I'm Ethan Jackson. This is my wife, Amara. We bought this house 2 weeks ago. The older officer, Detective Harris, recognized Ethan. Agent Jackson, we worked that fraud case last year. Ethan nodded. Good to see you, Harris. Margaret's face went pale. FBI? She whispered. Harris turned to her. You reported a break-in, ma'am? It's a misunderstanding, she faltered. What exactly? Harris pressed. Ethan's arms slid around me. That a black woman could live in Willow Grove? That she could be my wife? That she belongs here as much as you? Margaret recoiled. Neighbors were filming now, and Elena was still recording. I found my voice. This isn't the first time, Ethan. Last week, she left a notice about unauthorized occupants. Before that, she questioned me at the pool, asking if I was a guest. Ethan's jaw tightened. Repeated targeting based on race could be harassment. Harris noted, his tone casual but pointed. Margaret's composure cracked. I'm not racist. I have black friends. I didn't know she was your wife. And if she wasn't? Ethan asked softly. If she was just another black homeowner, would that justify this? The rookie officer stepped in. Ma'am, false police reports are serious. Want to make a statement? Margaret's eyes darted, finding no support. Even her husband had slipped away. No, it's a misunderstanding, she said, retreating. I faced the crowd. Is this Willow Grove's welcome committee? Humiliating people who look like me? Silence fell. An older woman, Beatrice Moore, spoke up. This isn't who we are, Mrs. Jackson. I'm so sorry. Margaret tried to flee, but Ethan called after her. This will be addressed at the next HOA meeting. We'll be there with the VY Dale. She froze, then scurried off. The police took our statements and left, as did most neighbors, some apologizing. Elena hugged me. I sent you the VY Dale, she whispered. Use it. Inside, I collapsed on the couch, trembling. Ethan knelt before me. I'm so sorry, Amara. I should have been here. I shook my head. It's not your fault. I thought we'd found a safe place. We will, he said fiercely. We'll make it safe. He was right. That VY Dale went viral in our community's social media, and by midnight, the HOA was flooded with demands for Margaret's resignation. Even white residents condemned her. The next morning, our doorstep was covered with flowers and apology cards, organized by Beatrice. 3 days later, the emergency HOA meeting was packed. Margaret sat in front, deflated. The VYC president, a retired judge named Harold Vance, opened the floor. I spoke, my voice steady. I'm Amara Jackson, a teacher. I teach empathy and respect. Last Tuesday, I saw what happens when those values are ignored. I detailed the incident, ending with, Margaret's actions reflect a culture that assumes people like me don't belong. I don't think she's evil, but her biases cause harm, and there must be consequences. Ethan followed, his FBI authority commanding the room. This could have ended badly if I hadn't arrived, if Amara had reacted with justified anger. It's not just about removing Margaret, it's about ensuring this never happens again. Residents shared stories. An Asian couple questioned at the gym, a Latino family's kids accused of trespassing, a black couple dressing up to avoid suspicion. White neighbors admitted ignoring microaggressions. Margaret apologized, her voice weak. I never meant harm. But you caused it, I said. She resigned on the spot. The meeting birthed a diversity committee, new reporting guidelines, and a welcome committee. Beatrice offered to host a proper welcome party for us. At that party, a young black girl asked if I was really a teacher and my husband was FBI. My mom says you made Mrs. Caldwell stop being mean. I smiled. Lots of people stood up. Sometimes it just takes one to start. She told me kids asked if she was lost when playing outside. You belong here, I said. Just like anyone. She grinned. I'm gonna be a teacher. Or FBI. You can be anything. I told her, and I meant it. As the sun set, I looked at our evolving community, flawed, but trying. Margaret had tried to block me from my home, but she'd opened the door to change, and I was ready to step through.